And we will go ahead and get started. So again, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. Thursday morning Pilates, another week where we are together but apart but together. So I appreciate you joining me and allowing me to keep doing this with all of you. It's very helpful for me. I hope it is for you as well. So we're going to start with some deep breathing. Sit up nice and tall, stacking shoulders over your hips. And we'll take a couple of nice deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Really allow yourself to fill up with air. Feel your ribs expanding through the front and the back. Feel your collarbones opening up. Deep breath in, and then hold some of that extra space as you exhale. So don't just collapse back down with the exhale, but rise up nice and tall on the inhale and stay up. One more. Deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then bring your right hand high up on your rib cage. Let your left hand fall heavy to the floor behind you. Right ear to right shoulder. And we'll take a couple of deep breaths. Feel that stretch on the left side of your neck. A little bit of pull to the floor. One more. Back to center and switch. Left hand up, right hand heavy to the floor behind you. And left ear to left shoulder. And deep breath in. And again, hopefully you feel a nice little stretch through the back of your neck on the right side here, the side that's pulling down. One more. And come back to center on your next inhale. Reach up with the right hand. Big long stretch through that right side. Fingertips to the sky, and then exhale, twist. Left hand to right knee. Again, inhale and reach. And exhale, twist. Gaze over your right shoulder, so you want to really complete that twist. Inhale and reach. And exhale, twist. One more on this side. Reach up long, really reaching those fingertips up to the sky. And then exhale and twist. Back to center, and we switch sides. Inhale, reaching left fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, twist. Inhale, reach. And exhale, twist. Two more on this side. Again, gaze should be over the shoulder, the left shoulder as you twist. One more big stretch. And then I'm going to turn on my mat. So if you're on a regular yoga mat, your feet would be about mat width apart. Otherwise, seated with your feet wider than hip width. Working the muscles of your legs, press them down onto the mat, flex at the ankles, toes pointed back towards you. Inhale, reach hands up to shoulder height. And on your exhale, let's reach down and past opposite little toe. Inhale up. And exhale out to the other side. Nice and tall with that inhale, and then exhale. Imagine that by blowing that air out, you're able to forward fold a little bit more, hollowing out your center. Fill up tall and then out to the other side. And then let's do 3 pulses forward. So you'll inhale up and then exhale forward 3 times with 3 pulses. With each pulse, try to reach forward a little bit more, blowing that air out, hollowing out. Inhale up tall. We'll do 1 more each side. And come back to center. Feet together. We're going to be rolling all the way back, so make sure that you're positioned someplace where you're not going to knock into something behind you. Legs are still active, muscles working to press down onto the mat, ankles flexed. Inhale, reach your hands forward, and we're going to exhale. Keep reaching your fingertips forward as you slowly roll back all the way down onto your back. Keep reaching forward. Come on down. Inhale, hands up overhead, and exhale, roll up slowly. Keep those legs down, active, and roll all the way up. Inhale up at the top. Keep reaching those fingertips forward as you slowly roll back. Deep breath in at the bottom. And again, exhale, roll up. This is our last one. All the way forward. And I'm going to take my little pillow, place it at the base of my spine. This is going to be a little different for everybody because obviously we're all using pillows of different sizes. But really what I want for you to be able to do here is you're going to bend your knees, place your feet down on the mat, and then lay back down on the pillow. So really we're just elevating the hips a little bit, supporting that low back. So you might have to kind of move around depending on the size and shape of your pillow. You might want to fold it over. I think I just rolled myself right out of the camera. I'll try that again. And then we're going to bring feet and knees together and open the knees out into a butterfly stretch. So by having your hips elevated up off the floor, it allows your hips to open out a little bit more to stretch past what would be the floor otherwise. And low back supported. Bring your knees back together. And then one side at a time. So keep your left knee up and drop just your right knee out to the side. Bring that right knee back up. It stays pointed up. Drop the left knee out to the side. And back up. Both knees out again. Deep breath in, and on your exhale, see if you can relax a little bit more. And you might have to kind of wiggle around on the pillow. Find that spot that really allows you to relax. Bring your knees back in. We'll do one more single side each side, so drop the right knee down. Left knee pointed up. Right knee back up. Left points out or drops out. Back together. And then open your feet out wider than hip width. So my legs are tilting in, knees touching in the center. And then again, open out. And you might find you have to move around again a little bit on the pillow, just to see if you can let your hips open from here. Knees back in together. You can play around with the positioning of your feet too, see if they're a little wider or a little narrower, if that allows your hips to stretch a little bit more. And back together. And then just bring your knees in towards your chest. So we're still on that pillow, just to support the back a little bit more. Bring the hips up and really hug your knees in. Drop your feet back down to the floor. And sit back up. Set the pillow aside for just a moment and roll back down onto the mat. All right, so we've just spent all that time with our hips elevated, supporting that arch of the back, even sort of encouraging the arch of the back. And now I'm going to ask you to press it down. So go through a few pelvic tilts. Little forward and back movement, forward and back rolling of the pelvis to press your low back down onto the mat. Allow for that arch and then press down. Pulling your belly button down towards your spine, getting that core engagement. Last one. Pressing the low back down. Right hand, you're going to bring light fingertips to the base of your skull. Extend your left leg out and down onto the mat. Make sure that your low back is still pressed down. Your right knee is bent and foot down. And I want you to lift your chest straight up towards the ceiling. So you're not trying to roll it forward, you're lifting up and feel that center engage. And lower back down. And again, raise your chest up to the ceiling. Feel how your center engages to keep your low back pressed down. Release back down. And again, chest up to the ceiling. So your fingertips are at the base of your skull, but you're not pulling on your neck or your head. You're raising your chest and your shoulders up to the ceiling and release down. And we're going to switch sides. So bring your Left foot up, left knee bent. Extend that right leg straight and out and down onto the mat. Your right hand is down by your side. Left fingertips light at the base of your skull. And again, reach your chest up towards the ceiling. Feel that center engage. And back down. And again, reach up. Make sure that you're breathing as you do this. Release back down. You don't want to hold your breath. One more. Low back press down. Reach your chest and your shoulders up towards the ceiling, and feel that bracing, that engagement of your center. And release back down. Bring both feet in. Both knees are bent. Feet are about hip width apart. Hands down by your sides. I like palms facing up for this because I feel like it lets my shoulders and chest relax. A little tilt of the pelvis to make sure that your low back is pressed down. And then you're going to squeeze your glutes. We're going to go into a series of bridges. So squeeze your glutes, press your hips up, and slowly lower back down. And again, press up and lower back down. Squeezing your glutes for this movement. Every time you come down, press the back down into the mat. Squeeze the glutes to come up. Last one. And then bring your feet and knees together. Allow your feet to open out, similar to that butterfly stretch that we had before, but you're going to keep your feet a little bit more anchored onto the floor. And then we're going to do a bridge from here. So with your feet out, or your knees out, your feet are in, your knees are out. Squeeze your glutes. And again, lift up into bridge and lower back down. So I'm on the outside edges of both of my feet. And again, make sure that you're squeezing your glutes to press up. Last one. Bring your feet together. I'm going to place my pillow under my right foot. So my feet are still side to side, or side by side, but obviously my right foot is up a little bit higher. The pillow is a little uneven. Depending on how thick or flat your pillow is, you might want to double up, fold it in half, so you have a little bit more thickness under your foot. Low back press down to start, and then squeeze your glutes and press up again into bridge. So even though we're starting from a position where your right foot is up higher than your left, and maybe, depending on the squishiness of your pillow, it's a little uneven, it's a little unsteady, I want you to still focus on bringing your hips evenly up and down. So fight that instability of the pillow, of the difference in height, in the difference in the stability of the floor, and work to stabilize as you raise and lower. Last one. and switch. Pillow under your left foot. Again, starting with low back press down. Squeeze the glutes and press up, working to have your hips raise and lower evenly. 2 more. And come back down. And I'm going to place that pillow between my knees. Feet about hip width apart. And again, depending on how thick or thin your pillow is, if it's a little on the thinner side, if you're able to double it up, you might want to do that here so you have a little bit more in between your knees. Low back, press down, core engaged, so that low back glued down to the mat. Pull your belly button down towards your spine. Feet are about hip width apart, and we're going to squeeze in on that pillow. So again, depending on how firm your pillow is or how thick it is, so squeeze in 3 times, and then I want you to hold and feel the muscles of your inner thighs engaging as you squeeze in. Feel your core muscles having to work to press down onto the mat as you're squeezing in that pillow, and release. And again, we do 3 squeezes, really big squeezes. And then on that 4th, we hold. Again, I'm going to talk you through. We're just going to hold it, really feeling the muscles of the inner thighs. Just use your glutes here too. See if you can engage them to help squeeze the legs in. Low back is pressed down. We're still squeezing. And release. We're going to do 2 more of those. Again, low back press down. We do that first, and then 3 squeezes. And press in and hold. Keep pressing your low back down. Squeezing in on that pillow. Really firing up those muscles of the inner thighs. And release down. Last one, low back, press down, 3 squeezes, and hold. So low back is pressed down, belly button pulled down towards the spine, really squeezing in. And release. And set that pillow aside. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Give me a little side to side roll. Raise your chest and shoulders up off the mat. Extend your left leg out to 45 degrees, toes pointed out. And we inhale and switch. Exhale, pull that left knee in. Inhale and switch. And continue. Inhale and switch. Last one. And release down. Feet again down to the floor. Bring your feet and knees in together. And again, allow your knees to open out into that butterfly stretch. Now bring your palms together up overhead. Deep breath in. I'm going to reach my hands up overhead, almost all the way to the floor overhead. And then exhale. Sit up, reach fingertips forward. And inhale back down. Reaching up. So inhale down. Deep breath in at the bottom. Exhale. And back out. Two more. And release down, bring your knees into your chest. Left foot is going to come down onto the mat. Extend your right leg out to about 45 degrees from the floor. And take a moment here, make sure that your low back is pressed down. So your thighs are even with each other. That's kind of the height that we're looking for on the right side. Hands down by your sides. Low back pressed down, belly button pulled down. And then I'm going to externally rotate that right leg. So my right toes are pointed out to the right side. I'm going to lower down towards the floor, keeping your low back pressed down. And then only come halfway. Lower down. Raise up a little bit. So working to keep that external rotation. And again, we're lowering down to the floor and halfway up, no higher than that left leg. And really working on that external rotation the whole time. Last one. Turn that leg so your toes are faced up again, and then point your toes away. Again, palms together, deep breath in. Still pointing those right toes out to 45 degrees. Reach and exhale. Reach up again, palms in between the knees. Inhale back down. And exhale, reach. Keeping that leg out to 45 degrees. Inhale, reach overhead. Exhale, reach fingertips between the knees. Two more. And release down, hug that right knee in. And then we're going to switch sides. So right foot down, knee pointed up to the floor, extend that left leg out to 45 degrees. Low back is pressed down. Going to take a moment here to make sure that our core is engaged, our center is working to keep the low back pressed down. Muscles of that left leg are active, toes pointed away. And then externally rotate. Flex at the ankle so your toes are pointed out to the left. Lower down to the floor. And halfway back up. So you're not raising that left leg any higher than your right knee. Working still to keep that low back pressed down. Last one. And then turn it back so your toes are pointed up, toes pointed away, low back press down, palms together. Deep breath in, reach up overhead. And exhale, reach up, fingertips between the knees. Inhale, back down. Keeping that leg active, up at 45 degrees. Two more. And release, hug that left knee in. And bring your right knee in. Hug both knees in. I like a little side to side roll. Open your knees out. Reach down. So arms are going to be between the legs. And take a hold of the outsides of your feet. So the bottoms of my feet are together. And pull your feet in towards you. And again, you can kind of rock forward and back or side to side. Pressing outward on your knees with your elbows as you pull your feet in. And release. And we're going to roll over onto our sides. So I'm going to start with my upper body in line with the back of the mat and bring my top knee forward to rest on the mat in front of me. Lower leg, I want to turn just slightly, which I realize you probably can't see in the video, but it's turned down just a little bit so my toes are down, my heel is up, and I'm going to raise and lower that leg. So working to keep the toe slightly down, the heel slightly up, just a little bit of rotation. And straight knee. And then raise up, 2 pulses at the top, and lower down. And again, 2 pulses at the top, lower down. Couple more. And then hold it up. Making sure that the toe is slightly lower than the heel, and then pulses up. And lower down. Extend both legs out. And we're going to externally rotate that top leg. So whereas before my knee was pointed forward, rotate, knee points up, my toes are pointed away, kick all the way up nice and straight, and then slowly lower back down. My core is engaged here, so my shoulders are stacked, my hips are stacked. And even though the movement is coming from the hip, it's working the leg to keep it rotated, keep that external rotation as I kick. My core is engaged, my upper body is engaged. Two more of these. and turn back to the front so your knee and toes are facing forward. And you're going to raise that top leg up just slightly higher than hip height. Bring the bottom leg up to meet it. Lower the bottom leg, but keep that top leg up. So we're raising and lowering that bottom leg. Two more. And on this last one, lower them both down. And then we'll go into a little bit more of our traditional staggered kick. So raise that top leg up, bottom leg comes to meet, lower them both down together. Top leg up, bottom leg meets, lower them both down. Two more. And then bring your knees forward. Keeping your knees together, this is different than what we normally do. Normally we keep feet together and raise and lower the knee. This time we're going to keep the knees together and rotate so that your foot raises up and lower back down. So your knees stay together. Rotating through the hip so that your foot raises up. Two more. And then we do our regular clams. So feet together, hips stacked one over the other so you don't have any sort of twisting through the center. Open and close that top knee. So imagine that your back is up against a wall so that you can't twist through the center at all. Last one. And let's roll over and get the other side. So starting with your legs in line with your upper body. Center is engaged, hips stacked. Bring that top knee forward to rest on the mat in front of you. Your lower leg, you're going to turn just slightly so that your toes are down and your heel is up. And then raise and lower the whole leg. Working to keep that rotation and keep the knees straight. And then raise up 2 pulses at the top, lower the rest of the way down. 2 pulses at the top and lower down. Last one. And then hold that leg up. Again, making sure that your ankle is flexed. Your toes are slightly lower than your heels, so you have a little bit of that rotation, holding it up, and then pulses up. And lower down. Extend both legs out. Hips stacked one over the other. Raise that top leg up past hip height, just slightly higher than hip height. And we raise and lower the bottom leg. So keeping the top leg up, raise that bottom leg to meet and lower down. Keeping the top leg up the whole time. Last one. Lower that top leg down. And then we do more of our traditional staggered kicks. So raise the top leg up, bottom leg comes to meet, lower them both down. Raise up, bottom leg meets, lower them both down. Nice and strong through the center. So your hips stay stacked. Couple more of these. Last one. And then bring both knees forward. Hips stacked one over the other. We start with those foot raises. So keeping the knees together, twisting through the hip to raise and lower that top foot. Two more. And then keeping hips stacked one over the other, lock your feet together and open and close that top knee. Last one. And then we're going to roll over, starting in a child's pose. Drop your hips back, reaching fingertips forward. Try opening your knees and your feet out a little bit more. Or knees out and feet together. And see if you can't sink down a little deeper. And come on back up onto all fours. So we're going to start with hands stacked under the shoulders and knees stacked directly under the hips. And then I'm going to move my left knee out to the left of center. Extend my right leg all the way out. And then sit back towards what would still be the center of the mat, not towards your left heel because that's left of center, but sitting straight back, reaching your fingertips forward, pushing through the palms of your hands, the heel of the palm of your hand. Walk your hands back in. Bring that right leg back into center, left leg back into center. We reset and we'll do the other side. So bring that right knee out to the right of center. Extend the left leg straight out to the side. And sink your hips back towards what would be the center of your mat. Reaching hands forward, pushing through the palm of the heels of your hands, really actively pushing back, reaching forward. And walk your hands back into center, knees back into center. Feet together, open the knees out nice and wide. And again, sink back and down. And kind of play around with how wide you can get your knees into this frog. Feet might be together at the big toes. They might be separated out just a little bit. And you can try rocking forward and then shifting back again. And release, come on up. On all fours, knees under your hips, hands under your shoulders, and arch your back up. Big, over-exaggerated arch. And then let your spine sag, pulling your belly button in, chin up, chest forward. Exhale back up. And back down. One more of each. Big arch up, let your head fall heavy between your arms. And then let your spine sag, chin up, chest forward. Pull your belly button in. And come back to center. Take a seat. All right, take a second. Get yourself situated. I'm going to say goodbye to Facebook Live and thank you for joining us. Turn that off and then I will unmute our Zoom so we can say our goodbyes for the day. So thank you, Facebook, for joining us.